Hello, and welcome back to the Nostalgic Futurist podcast. It's been a while since we've talked, but with the parks remaining closed in California, it's been kind of a depressing time to really talk about Disney. And honestly, trying to scrounge through YouTube videos to find one I haven't watched 5 to 6 times already is getting really difficult. So, I've decided that I want to talk about the differences between Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus. I'm going to start this off with the fact that I am a much bigger Star Wars fan than I am a Marvel fan. In fact, I haven't even seen a lot of the most recent Marvel films because I just got kind of tired of the universe being so big that there's so many films I have to watch to be able to understand what's going on. I really only enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther and sometimes Endgame. I mean, it's kind of sad, but anyway. This all comes down to the fact that I, as someone who loves Star Wars more, but putting that aside, I think Galaxy's Edge is a much better land and much more well thought out than Avengers Campus will be. My concerns are that Galaxy's Edge was in development for such a long time, and it had so much hype about it, and everyone knows Star Wars fans, you can't get anything wrong, otherwise you're gonna have everybody exploding, because everything is wrong to Star Wars fans for some reason. You can never please them, no matter what you do. But I feel that Avengers Campus feels rushed, and I know the pandemic got in the way, but it was supposed to open July 18th of this year. And the thing is that it was only announced at the 2017 D23 convention. So that's 2-3 years, basically, that it took for them to announce it and then give it to us. It took 4 years between the announcement of Galaxy's Edge in 2015 to when it finally opened in 2019. And yes, Galaxy's Edge was riddled with problems. Rise of the Resistance didn't open at the same time as the rest of the land, and there was, of course, a lot of skepticism about it because it's set during the newest trilogy, which is not most people's favorite. I mean, at least it's not their prequels, am I right? But the thing is that Galaxy's Edge, with all of its bugs, was a 14-acre land that was extremely thought out. They brought back John Williams to oversee the music. They really thought about what are the parts of Star Wars that everyone wishes they could live. Flying the Millennium Falcon, going to the cantina. And then Rise of the Resistance is one of the most, it is the most, expansively before its time, crazy rides that involve so many different ride systems, and the entire queue is immersive, and it's the first time that a ride really, really makes you feel like you're actually in the movie. And when you look at Avengers Campus next to that, and you're like, I could do Toy Story Midway Mania, but as Spider-Man. Ooh, new ride concept. It just kind of falls flat. And while we don't necessarily know exactly what the Quinjet ride is going to be in all of its entirety yet, I personally have never had the impulse of being like, man, I want to ride a Quinjet. That would be the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. But riding the Millennium Falcon, and not only riding it, but getting to drive it and send it into hyperspeed and all of those things, yeah, that's a lot cooler as an experience. So I did some digging, and I went and I looked at, comparatively with the numbers, what is the difference between Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus? Galaxy's Edge has 5 food locations. One of those is a bar, which is the cantina, and it has really crazy themed Star Wars drinks. They brought back the old Star Tours Captain Rex, as a DJ. And it has that, really dark, kind of hole-in-the-wall bar feeling of Star Wars. But also, what's really cool is even if you don't get a reservation to get in, you can walk by it, and you can hear the, boom, boom, boom of the music. And it really adds to that ambiance of really being somewhere as opposed to just being in a theme park and being like, oh, look, it's Spider-Man. They also have 8 stores, because the entire marketplace is a bunch of hole-in-the-wall stores, and 2 rides. One that is somewhat reusing Star Tours' technology, but adding a video game element, basically, and another one that is just, you can't compare anything with Rise of the Resistance, I'm sorry. Now, in Avengers Campus, the plan is to have 3 stores, one of which we already have, which is the gift shop exiting Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a gift shop. Not so much, it's themed, but it's not themed as much as the ride is. So it really just feels like, hey, you exited into the gift shop. Here you go. Buy yourself a little Groot for your shoulder. They are also planning on having 1 restaurant, which is the Pym Foods. And the idea behind that is that, it's so unique and special because you're going to have oversized and undersized food, just like Ant-Man. But then you look at the pictures and they have like a giant pretzel. I've seen giant pretzels before. They have them at fairs and sometimes at malls. And then there's like a chicken sandwich where the chicken is oversized, but the bun isn't. And I'm like, that's just hard to eat. I felt this way somewhat about the Galaxy's Edge food as well. Oh, you put a sausage in a tortilla with some coleslaw and called it some new food. But at least it felt like they were putting an effort in. But what do you do with Avengers Campus? It takes place during basically modern day. And that's another thing. Is it going to date itself? Because, as we all know, due to Tomorrowland's issues, you can't keep predicting the future. And while Avengers Campus is going to be set around the time of Infinity War, so we're saying what? I can't even remember. That's 2019 or 2020 or whatever it is in the Marvel Universe. That's going to date itself because the thing is, Iron Man lives in a mansion in Malibu. And, Black Widow is a Russian operative. These are things that actually exist in the world, and therefore it will date itself. We are going to look back at Avengers Campus if they do not update it to stay up to date with the movies they're bringing out. And we're going to go, I remember 2019. I remember Infinity War when it came out 30 years ago. And we're going to probably not think that the land looks cute anymore. Whereas with Galaxy's Edge, yes, it is set between 8 and 9. But it's in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to age itself. It's going to always feel Star Wars-y. And if they continue to make Star Wars spin-off movies and, go back and cover particular characters, it's still going to feel like Star Wars. And even though, we know that certain characters died in Episode 9 and they're still walking around Galaxy's Edge, it's a lot more different than Avengers Campus, where it's taking place as if the snap didn't happen. We're in a separate universe where Thanos didn't get the little glove and snap his fingers and ruin the world. So that makes it okay then to then still have the characters that died, really, really died, in Endgame. I guess. But it feels like cheating to me, because they've already taken those characters out of the park anyway, because they died. And I guess they're just trying to make sure it's okay that they have Spider-Man around, so they're we got rid of the snap, so Spider-Man didn't disappear. And I'm like, well, it just feels clunky and awkward. And they have plans to make Marvel movies for the next, I don't even know how many years. And they're going to keep expanding certain stories and adding characters. And what's that going to do to the land? Is it going to date the land itself, not by time, but by who's around? And I'm also very curious to see what they're going to do with the presence of Black Panther in the park after the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Are they going to still have Black Panther around? I hope they do. The representation he brings is amazing. But do we get to see his sister? Because she would be an amazing walk-around character. Are you kidding me? Expand that universe, because they're going to have to decide what they're going to do with that universe anyway. But how does that change and affect Avengers Campus? And a big question I'm asking myself is, why is Avengers Campus not set in Wakanda? That's the coolest place of any of the Avengers movies, besides maybe a planet in Guardians of the Galaxy, but they never stay on any one planet long enough to care. But Wakanda? Think about Pandora level theming, but Wakanda. And you get to have that moment of it. It looks like Wakanda's not there. And then you pass through the shield thing, and there it is. It's like a full, beautiful city. with like high tech. Where's that? Because that's not going to date itself in quite the same way, because Wakanda is based in history and technology, which is a really interesting combination. But I digress in my imagineering. I want to now talk about the originality between Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus. Now, Galaxy's Edge could have been set on Tatooine. It could have been on Hoth. But they purposefully chose to make up a new planet so that it wasn't connected to one film or another. And, per Star Wars lore, they gave it something that the planet is known for. Hoth is an ice planet. Tatooine is a sand planet. Black Spire Outpost is known for its black spires. Batuu is a black spire planet. That is what makes it feel like it's part of that whole Star Wars universe. It fits right in. There's so many planets in Star Wars because there's just so many planets. So the fact that we're like, oh, this is a rebel base, and it has some of the feelings of the Forest Moon, but it also has some of the feeling of Tatooine in the marketplace design. It just gives you just the essence of some of your favorite planets without actually like being strictly on one. But Avengers Campus is set in, this is the place where the Avengers hang out, and this is their like campus. It's like a Google. It's like the Avengers work at Google. And that's going to date itself because pretty soon Google is not going to have a campus with a tennis court because the coronavirus destroyed that. And now Google all works from home, and now they don't have all the cool massages you can get. I think that it's also weird because Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't even make sense in terms of Avengers Campus. It's the Collector's fortress, but why is it on Earth? Why would he be there? Why does he care about Terra? I think that Guardians of the Galaxy is an amazing themed ride, but you can't say it's an Avengers Campus. It doesn't fit. It's on a different planet, and we all know it. It's just ridiculous. And then there's the thing about Galaxy's Edge. You can build your own lightsaber and have a beautiful ceremony where you hear the voices of past Jedi honoring you as you build your saber however you want it built. And you can build droids. You can make your own BB-8 unit or your own R2 unit. And then you get to take it home, and it can like move around with like a little controller and all that stuff. And the equivalent of that in Avengers Campus is spider bots. There's never been a spider bot in a movie. Not that I remember. That's not something that little kids are like, Mommy, 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 I want a spider bot. I mean, there might be like that once they see them. But adults like me who are like, oh, I just want a lightsaber. I need to have my BB-8 unit to really feel like I'm part of Star Wars. Yeah, a spider bot's not going to really do that. Why are we not selling something that's more pertinent to the movies, like a Peter Quill starship? I don't know. I don't even know what you would do, because Marvel just doesn't lend itself to that same kind of cult favoritism that Star Wars has. And then let's talk about phases and delays. So Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be all opened at the same time. There wasn't supposed to be phases. Now, they said there was a second phase because they had to wait for Rise of the Resistance to be ready. But it's probably good they waited because it breaks down enough as it is. And I can only imagine how much it would have broken down if it opened with the park. I mean, the rest of the land. But Avengers Campus is supposed to be in phases. And we only know what's coming in phase 1, which is the Pym Foods and the Spider-Bot ride and that kind of stuff. But the Quinjet ride's not even till phase 2. We don't know anything else really about phase 2. We don't know if they're taking over Hollywoodland in its entirety. What's happening to the Frozen show? Where's the Hyperion Theater going? I mean, we don't know anything, and I don't imagine it's going to be that much more exciting because the first Avengers Campus phase is not that exciting. So, I just don't see it. I don't see how this is going to get any better. Whereas Galaxy's Edge, like they had talked about expanding it, but I don't think that they really will, at least in California for now. But it's like great as itself. It's great in its own right. And I guess the one positive about Avengers Campus is that, Orlando can't even have it. We're getting it in Anaheim, Paris, and Hong Kong. And Orlando can't have it because of Universal's rights over Marvel characters and theme parks on the East Coast. So we've got that. We got something over Orlando. For once. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the Nostalgic Futurist podcast this week. And maybe next time I'll come and bash one of your other favorite movie franchises. Sorry to be so hard on Avengers Campus, but when you have Galaxy's Edge open, and then you compare things like Galaxy's Edge, the wizarding world of Harry Potter, and Avengers Campus, you start to go, the old Jurassic Park ride with all the broken dinosaurs was sure much better than that. Anyway, I hope to talk with you all soon, and stay safe out there.